Hello and welcome to Nursing School Chronicles, brought to you by the University of Texas Medical Branch School of Nursing. My name is Lauren Homan and I am the recruiter here at UTMB SOM, and it is my honor to be able to chat with current and prospective students. This podcast is a resource that has been created for current, prospective students and anyone interested in nursing school. Each episode will cover a different subject. Enjoy! Hello and welcome to UTMB Nursing School Chronicles. I am your host, Lauren Homan, and I am joined by three student ambassadors today. Can you each introduce yourself and tell us what semester you're in? Maya, let's start with you.
My name is Maya Bhatt, and I am in the third semester.
My name's Savannah Pitts, and I'm second semester.
I'm Caterina Chavanne, and I'm a second semester.
Yay! Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah,
so on our topics for today's episode are going to be peer mentoring, UTMB tutoring, studying, and just kind of like resources in general to make sure you're successful in nursing school, because we want to be successful, right? You don't want to do this twice. So let's get started with peer tutoring. Maya, you are a peer mentor director.
Yes.
Yeah.
So peer mentor program, just like a little summary of what that is. It's something that we offer to first semester students. And it's a pretty much it's a student-run plus Lauren Homan run organization.
I'm just in the shadows. Y'all do the hard work.
So whenever I came in for my first semester, I didn't know that it was a program that was offered until I was already, accepted, enrolled, all of the things.
Right.
And then I had it's like a little BuzzFeed personality quiz that asks you, all of your, just some personality traits. And then I got matched with my peer mentor. And I loved her.
That's
loved
awesome.
her. She was so amazing. She gave me so many study tips, so many class tips, so many life tips in general for how different, life is in nursing school.
Right.
And then after that, I loved the program so much that I just had to be a director for it. So now I'm doing that. And yeah, it's I did that, last semester?
Yes.
It was for this past.
You're technically one right now, but
Right.
we're retiring you.
Yes, I'm retiring. But yeah, I think it's really great. We put the directors put a lot of effort into matching the mentors and the mentees together. We back in my day, we tried to keep like parents with parents. We tried to keep people who commuted with people who commuted because
similar life experiences, right?
Yeah. Because it's like, I'm a 22-year-old girl. Like, how do I know about, parenting and how do I give advice to someone who, has to deal with that whole extra struggle.
Right. And that's a lot of work pairing that, because that is a lot of students that sign up. So you have your work cut out for you.
Yes, it's quite a few students, but it's such a great program. Whenever you first come in, it's so easy to feel like you don't know anybody, and you especially don't know anybody who's like made it through. You know what I mean? Who's like done what you've done and been okay, and so to have just one person be like, hey, I did this,
and dedicated to you specifically, so it's not just a random person that
Absolutely. And it's someone that hopefully your directors made sure you had something in common with, like you have some kind of common ground.
You both like dogs.
Yes.
I know that's a question on there.
You're both dog people. You both like Taylor Swift. All of the things. Best friends.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a really important program. I loved having a mentor. I love having my mentees. I hope they like me back.
Well, let me tell you, I know.
Can't say that. But yeah, I know you guys, you had a mentor, right?
Yes, I had a mentor, and I think I would agree the best part about having a mentor is like having someone that's like been through it. And it has a little bit of hope. Like, okay, they got through this, so can I, kind of thing. And it's they've been in your shoes exactly, and so they can, my mentor has given me some of like the best advice I could have received during nursing school. And yeah, along with like all the study tips, along with like all of the life tips, it's also just nice to have someone like my mentor checks in on me frequently still. Like I'm in my second semester, and she's, I think, graduating. And so she still like will reach out and be like, hey, like, how's it going? How's your first round of exams going? And like, just kind of checking in on you. And it's nice to know that it's kind of like having a big sibling almost, at least for me. In my experience, it was like that.
Right. No, I think it's really cool. And I also really like that we do allow it to be kind of like a student-led initiative. So it is a little bit more personalized, where it's not just the admissions office is pairing you with someone, you know, like it's an actual student. So like you have a different perspective on like how important it is to match them with somebody who can, again, similar life experiences, or someone who they're going to jive with, they can like help walk through the program, because nursing school is not for the faint of heart, right, ladies?
Yeah. And logistical questions too. Like I think I had a question, we're prepping locations for our pediatric clinicals. And so I was like, what are y'all's experiences at these different locations? Like what are y'all's thoughts looking back on it? Like, do you wish you had prepped differently? Or it was nice to kind of have like a feedback.
Right. Someone who's, recently gone through
it.
So it's not someone who is far removed from the program. Like they are either in the program still or maybe just graduated. And I know too, like I've talked to students who have had peer mentors, graduate, but they're still in the program, but their mentor is still there for them.
Yes.
Which I think also speaks to the type of student that we admit here. Obviously, I'm very biased, but our students truly are so unique here. And so I think that just really shows the dedication our students also have to each other to make sure you're lifting each other up and kind of carrying each other through. So I think it's really special. UTMB special, right?
And I think the mentors are all super duper willing to, like, they really, really want to help you. And like my mentor was like, I can literally just FaceTime you and we can talk for hours. I was like, that's so nice. Coming in, I thought I was going to have a lot of help because my sister is an alum. That was 5 years ago, and things have changed. And not as helpful as I thought. But having a peer mentor has been super awesome, just to, like, shoot a quick text or, like, chat on FaceTime. Like, it's been super awesome. Very grateful to have them around.
No, it's awesome. Yay for peer mentoring.
Yay.
So kind of, anybody else want to say anything about mentoring?
Just one thing
on
what you had said. My mentor, I'll rave about her all day. She is fully graduated. She is a working woman.
Go girl.
Texted me this week saying good luck with finals. Like, you got this. So I just love it. I feel like it gives you a lot of connections too. Like, you start to meet people in different cohorts and stuff, which I feel like doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and see, that's cool. So she's graduated and you're literally still in the program and she's still checking in on you.
Yes,
like,
very sweet.
That's amazing. Yay. So tutoring too. So kind of going off of another resource that we have to make sure our students are successful and to help them. So I know, Maya, going back to you, I'm going to pick on you. I know you're a tutor. Can you kind of talk about, I guess, your experiences, what it's like to be a tutor?
Yeah. So I went into tutoring because I got tutored first semester, and it helped me a lot, and it really did. I felt like first semester, I don't know how I would have made it through some exams without going to, tutorings. And the tutors that I have, and I know you guys have some of them too, they're amazing. They're amazing students. They're amazing people. They're so, so helpful. Right. So whenever I, finished my first semester and they asked, do you want to do it? I was like, okay, like, give that kind of moment, because I feel like it's a very important program.
Yeah.
So I know you guys can talk about, like, from the perspective of the tutee.
Yeah, right. And I do want to touch real quick too, specifically about the tutoring, is that our students, our tutors, like you mentioned, are hand selected, which I think is very cool. So, like, because I know some people are like, oh, well, like, what if the tutor isn't actually a really good tutor? And it's someone who's like, oh, yeah, I'm an expert in patho, and then they help you bomb all your tests, So it's students that our faculty have hand selected. So our faculty have vetted them and made sure that they trust them to tutor on these subjects. So
I will never ever say I'm an expert in patho. But they after I took my first semester courses, I got either emails from some faculty, or I got an email from Casey Woods Chin directly saying, like, hey, if you want to do this. Right. So all of the tutors are people who are either currently in the program or they are people who have graduated out of the program. Right. But regardless, they're people that have sat in those seats, taken those classes, and they've been successful in those classes. Right. So they kind of have a different, like, I have a different perspective than that of my instructors, obviously. Right. They're teaching me. I actually have to learn it and then teach it back, kind of thing.
Right. Which is different. Yeah. Totally different, right?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, they come from, I don't know, like, they already have their bachelor's, they already have their master's and their doctorate.
So it totally makes sense to them.
Right, and I'm sitting here with my little associates of science degree, like,
right.
So, yeah, but we are vetted.
Yeah, yes, not just some random person.
Yes.
Now, to backtrack off of that, and obviously I'm going to get to y'all about your experiences of being tutored, but you mentioned Casey. Can we talk about who Casey is real quick?
And Casey was
perfect.
Yes. So she is in charge of the tutoring program.
Right.
I know she does a million other things.
Academic counselor, I think, is her
the word.
technical title. Don't hold me to it, but she's important.
Yes, she is important, and she's very, very helpful. So aside from just like being in charge of like, you know, the tutoring program and coordinating that kind of stuff, I know she does a lot for just academic resources in general. So I know whenever I was coming in my first semester, she spoke to us at orientation and Destination Galveston, and she told us, you know, you need to know what kind of studier you are. You need to know what kind of what blah, blah, blah you are. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then we start, and I'm like, oh, no, she is.
Right.
She was onto something there.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like our head charger of success, you know?
Yeah,
So
she has so many study tips, so many, like, I mean, she's so great at, like, scheduling and planning. And, I mean, time management is a skill, and it's something that she can, you know, help with. And I have friends that have gone to her and gotten help, and she's helped them with their planner. And yes.
So thank you for touching on that. So going back, so Kat, what's it like to be tutored? Run us through a tutoring session. Is it online or is it in person?
It is online. So actually at the beginning of the week, Casey Widston will send out a form to sign up for tutoring, and so you have to make sure to sign up. It's just like a Microsoft form, and so you'll sign up, and then they're at different assigned times like throughout the week. And so you like it does take like some student initiative to make sure to sign up for the tutorings, and then you are then sent the link to a Teams meeting. And so all of the tutoring takes place on Teams meetings. Usually we'll join in, we'll have our cameras on, and the tutors go through either like the slide decks that we went through in class, or they'll make their own adaptations of it. And it's so helpful, because sometimes the tutors will say like things that the professor said in class but weren't necessarily on the slides, and so they'll kind of add on to it. And so you might have missed it when the professor said that in class, but hearing it again from the tutor is such a helpful experience. And it's kind of just like reinforcing the learning that you have, and they're so eager to answer questions that you might have and like kind of clarify. And if they don't have the answers, they're so selfless of their time that they will go and like help us find the answers to the questions that we have, which is so awesome.
Sometimes they'll send out like random little resources and be like, oh, hey, I found this, send it in the group meet.
Really?
Like, so amazing and so nice. Yeah.
Aren't our students amazing? Y'all are amazing.
I think coming into it, I was like tutoring, like, oh, like who need, well, how
like a bad rap around tutoring.
There is a bad rap around tutoring, but I realized like it's not one-on-one. It's like a tutor to a whole group, so it's not awkward.
You're not singled out.
You're not singled out at all. And it's so helpful to have someone who's like been through the class to kind of pass on that knowledge. And I think I would have been doing significantly worse if I hadn't watched tutorings for each.
And tutoring is not a crutch.
It
doesn't make you weak.
No.
Right. Because like Maya mentioned earlier, she's a tutor and a tutee. Like she's a tutor who's also going to tutoring. No. So that just shows like, I mean, it's a resource for everyone, and it doesn't make you weak. And in fact, I mean, my personal opinion, it makes you stronger, because you want to better yourself. What are your experiences, Savannah, going to tutoring?
I did want to mention, I don't know if you said it, but it's free. Tutoring is
completely free. It's completely free.
Well, included in your tuition. You pay for it.
Definitely pay for it. I think it's amazing. I like in like my previous degree, I was like, oh, this is a breeze. Like, you know.
Is nursing school not a breeze?
Well, you know.
If it was, everybody'd be a nurse.
Right.
It's just like so amazing, and the tutors are, like Kat said, so selfless with their time that they're willing to sit down, and some of the tutoring sessions go on until 9 p.m.
Are you serious? What time do they start normally?
It varies.
7 p.m. sometimes.
So you're talking like 2 hours.
The longest session I've ever done was like almost 4 hours.
You're lying.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I hear their voices getting hoarse, and I'm like, girl, I feel so bad for you.
But keep going.
So much.
It's
and I am second semester. We are taking pharmacology right now, And my first
You're
two
almost
exams,
done.
yes, we're almost done. But my first two exams, I was like, oh, wow, like, I've never seen these kind of grades before. Like, uh-oh. And I went to Tutorings for the third exam, and my test grade went up 10 points.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow.
The proof is in the pudding, y'all. Go to Tutoring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
something y'all are doing is like
Working.
just working.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but it's working.
And what's handy is like once you go to the live tutoring, then you can go and watch it back, which is so helpful because I'll go and watch it through the first time and I'll take notes. And then sometimes I'll go back and put it on like 1.2 speed and I can speed it up and I'll listen to it like while I'm getting ready in the morning or like just in kind of the background, but as just like a refresher of like, okay, going through this information one more time. And so it's really handy to be able to go back and reference. Or if I'm thinking like studying something, I'm like, what did the tutor say about this? And like go back and reference it, which is super nice.
And I think it's cool too having a student tutor as someone who might explain it differently. So like maybe the way the professor said it maybe didn't jive with your brain, but maybe the way Maya is going to explain it to you might click, which is cool.
Practice questions too. Practice questions.
I was going to say, so practice questions, we try and get, for most of our sessions, we try and get like questions from their textbooks or from like the NCLEX Saunders book or ATI or anywhere else that we can get practice questions so they can kind of like not just see the the content, but hopefully apply it, learn, start practicing. We try and come up with the goofiest memory tricks, especially
those
for
are the best.
I don't know where I'd be without those memory tricks.
I know, and the ones that I tell you guys, I learned from my tutors, and like they're still
in the
my
exam.
head.
We all sound crazy because we're like, oh, that the bananas on the shelf.
It's like the best way to remember things.
Just
so if it's goofy. And Savannah, I want to go back and touch on what you said. I really liked. You said you noticed a trend, and so you started to get help. So you didn't wait until it was too late. Which I think is so important for students to realize is that don't dig yourself in a hole. Like we're talking obviously about resources, like get help when you need help and it's okay. And you saw the increase in your grade. So
and I didn't let it get too bad before I was like, there are resources. I don't know why I'm struggling when there's a million resources. And like the tutors will tell you something, and even just like talking to your classmates, like how do you understand this concept? And just hearing something different ways again and again and again is really helpful.
And I love that you made that point. So thank you for being open and honest and transparent with us.
Now.
So I think that's super important to get help when you need help. Doesn't make you weak, like we said. Makes you strong.
Like we were talking about Casey Woods-Chen earlier, she's a good person to go to if you're ever starting to get in a situation like that where you're starting to struggle. She has she's not just there for the first semester. She's there for everyone, anyone struggling. She's a really good resource to get some help from. Yeah,
and she is so passionate about it. And I know she always drills, do not wait till the last minute to get help. Because obviously our goal here at the School of Nursing is to make sure our students are successful. We don't like to torture our students. We want y'all to succeed. We want y'all to be successful nurses. So, now, studying. Y'all don't study much, right?
No.
Just on the beach with the sunset.
So, realistically, though, like how much would you say you each study? Just in general, just a general rule of thumb, or like what's the one class you had to study for a lot? I know it's going to be different for everybody, but so far.
I think the class that I've studied for the most so far, and this might be controversial, but it was
Don't say
it. Was Adult 2.
Yeah.
That was a tough course.
Interesting.
For me, personally. I'm also the type where I can memorize things fairly easily. So
I'm like the opposite.
I'm literally the adult is my best class, and farm where it's memorization.
That's where I was waiting for someone to say.
Yeah, farm was like close to one of the highest grades I've gotten in the program.
You're a liar. Let me see your transcript.
it's just blank memorization, which is so easy peasy for me. But whenever it comes to things like, I don't know, like what's a bronchoscopy? Like, don't ask me that. So I think that was probably the class that I studied for. I read the ATI book. I read the NCLEX book. I went to tutoring. I did go to tutoring.
Yeah, I think that's like one point that I think in general, studying in general, it's so different from person to person. Everybody's strengths are different than another.
Yes.
Like they need to learn a different way, which going back to Casey Witch-Ten, at orientation, she had us talk about like our different learning styles. And I think that's kind of rung true. It is true. Like Maya's great at memorization. I am terrible at it. Farm and Patho were both like kind of my worst subjects. Patho is more critical thinking, but it's still more memorization than adult. And so I've had to find different ways to study, even for different classes. Like I study differently for each of my different classes. And it kind of took a while to figure out, like not a while, my first exams. It took my first exams to kind of figure out which study techniques worked for what class, and then kind of go back and review and then figure it out. But time-wise, I think I am fortunate enough. I don't have to work right now, but I treat it like a 9-to-5 job. And so, and then that also has weekends. sometimes depending on
Do you get paid overtime? No.
I wish. But yeah. So,
I think I don't know what I think. It's tough, but I think you just have to sit yourself down and be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and phone away. Like you just have to push yourself, and it's not fun, but.
And studying is different in nursing school than prereqs, right?
And it's so hard to find some intrinsic motivation sometimes.
Right.
Like, that's why it's nice having peers, because I usually like studying with I will usually study with one person, and I'm like, you sit at that side of the table, and I'll sit at this side of the table, and we're not really going to talk, but just having the motivation of seeing somebody else studying kind of
forces me to do it.
Forces me to do it. And I'm like, okay, if they're doing it, then I can do it too.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's me, and it's different for every person.
Right.
And it's different, but like there's 100 and something people in the program, you're going to find someone who you study well with.
Right.
And, individual studying is so important, but you're going to have someone with similar styles and learning styles than you. And, it's okay to lean on each other a bit.
Yes.
Do we want to each go around and kind of describe, like, how our individual
Let's
study?
do it.
Yeah,
do it, Kat. Initiate.
Okay. So, like, just kind of like a week goes, let's say I have an exam the following week. I will typically, it also depends on the class. I attend the tutorings as they occur, and then I will go back and watch them the week leading up to the exam just to kind of refresh and go through those practice questions. And I am a very tactile learner, so I rewrite my notes, and that is what has been most helpful to me. It's while I'm sitting in class, we're fortunate enough to have iPads, so I'll take notes on the slides, and then I'll go home that day and I give myself about like a 2-day window where I need to like go back and rewrite those notes. And I think the process of rewriting it is what I've found, at least for the more memorization type classes like Patho and Farm, rewriting my notes is what helps me. And I'll rewrite the notes that I added onto the slides too in class. And so that's,
does your hand hurt right now from writing all those notes?
It gets a good workout.
I mean, you're coming to the end of the semester.
It definitely might have carpal tunnel at some point, but who knows?
Worth it, right?
Yes, definitely worth it. But I know that's so different from how like everybody else studies. And time-wise, I will go a couple. I think it's like I set a timer for 30 minutes, and I'm not allowed to look at my phone for those 30 minutes, and I give myself like a little 5-minute break and try and do it in increments and give myself a little reward at the end.
Right. Yeah, rewards are good. What about you, Savannah?
A little bit. I don't have the best study habits. It's kind of like how much energy I have that day.
Right.
I do try and we'll have lecture, and then within the next 2 days I need to type out all of my notes.
Oh, you type them?
Yes.
That's
I type
cool.
them in a Google Doc, and then I download the Google Doc onto an app like Notability, and I highlight and re-highlight, and I talk to myself a lot, and I talk to my roommate. We just spitball off each other.
That's awesome.
And for me, just repeating the information out loud is what helps me, and being able to if I can teach this topic to someone, I know it.
Right.
So I like that. And then, I don't know. Every class is very different.
Right.
And I think I'm still trying to figure out my study habits. But I think for me,
Still learning.
Writing is just not time, efficient for me.
Right.
But it works great for Kat. And I see her writing away.
And you
in
don't want
class.
carpal tunnel, so.
No. I write my notes in class. And then we have the tutoring, and I take notes on the tutoring, and some professors in some classes record their lectures, and that's helpful also to go back and watch and take notes over. But for me, it's more like repeating the knowledge again and again.
Right. Maya, the tutor and tutie.
Oh no, you sound so bad. I'm like such a procrastinator.
Don't listen to Maya. No.
I'm sorry. I should be better, but I'm not.
Well, but you're a different learner though, so
yes,
that's
I
different.
It's kind of like what you were saying, Kat. I have such a hard time with intrinsic motivation until it's crunch time.
Right.
Because I swear I could
Final
study.
countdown.
Yes, I could study more in the 2 days before an exam
Right.
than I could in like the whole month.
Right.
Up to it.
Right.
But for me, it also depends on the class. Like pharmacology for me was a flashcard class. I made flashcards, went over those over and over again. Versus like patho, that was a whiteboard class for me. I got a big whiteboard like my first month after I came to Galveston, and it's like the best. It's like the best money I've spent here. I love it. I write everything. I just brain dump, and then I don't know. I kind of do this thing where I'll read my PowerPoint slide, and then I'll try and write everything onto the whiteboard, and then I'll erase and rewrite. So kind of like what you were saying, like writing and writing and writing.
Right.
And then practice questions.
Practice questions.
Classes.
That's a new thing I've discovered.
And it's so helpful.
A little late.
It's very helpful.
Not late. You're just halfway done.
It's helpful to assess what you know and what you need to work on.
Yes, and then a
Right.
lot of the questions, our instructors for the most part give us textbooks that have practice questions in them. So, it's content that the instructors approve of, it's answers that they approve of, stuff like that.
Right.
And then
Not
they'll give
Quizlet, where you're like
Yeah,
not sure if
exactly.
it's
You're not sure. And the rationales are the helpful
Yes.
part. And you're not going to get that on Quizlet, but you will from ATI and you will from your instructor's
which is
textbook.
important, obviously, to know why was your answer
Exactly.
wrong or why was it right.
Why did they know? Why did they think this is right?
Yes,
Right.
Versus
exactly.
a different answer.
Right.
And especially, I think that's especially helpful because everyone knows that in nursing school, there's not, just one right answer. It's the best
Which is
answer.
Why
which
is
the
the-
most right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I always joke around.
So-
It's like, what color is the sky? Blue, light blue, or blue. It's like, all of them.
Joke's on you. It's
Which
a
one's
battle.
best? So.
Yep.
No, yeah, that's awesome. So obviously going off of studying, do y'all have like a favorite place that you like to study? Oh, Kat's nodding.
I probably different from everybody.
Are you the library gal?
No, I am an HEC gal.
Oh.
Look, when I get my schedule, I will book rooms in advance because knowing that I have a booked room, I have to get my butt to campus and study.
Can you talk about that real quick before we go on? Like how,
Yes.
booking a room for studying.
This is another thing that my peer mentor helped me out with because
There
I
you
feel
go.
like I maybe I missed it somewhere in orientation, but you go to, I forget the exact website, but it's like the HEC.library or something like that.
Right.
If
Classroom services.
Classroom services, something similar to that.
Right.
If you Google it, I'm sure you'd be able to find it. And it shows like a schedule time layout of all of the rooms and which ones are booked. And so you're able to book 4 hours a day, book a room for 4 hours a day. And so it's really easy. You just log in, put your email in.
And then no one can steal your room.
Exactly.
Your name's on the room.
If someone's in your room, you can politely be like, hey, I have this reserved.
This is my
Sorry.
room.
Yeah.
Today.
It's and everybody's super friendly and it's never a big deal.
Right.
But the study rooms are so nice. I've found I'm not going to share my specific ones because I want to keep
Cat's not spilling the beans.
because I like this for myself. But I am very, very ADHD and get distracted so easily. So coffee shops don't work for me because I get so distracted about everybody else moving around. And so the HEC is nice because I am able to minimize distractions. My phone, social media is blocked on the Wi-Fi, so I can't
even get to it.
I don't have that distraction. And there's all the technology you could need. There's whiteboards. And
monitors, right, too? Like big
there's
TV
TVs.
screens.
So
right.
I've gone in there with actually Savannah. We've pulled up practice questions on the monitor and gone through them together so we could
Right.
all see it.
and it's a big screen TV.
I've also used them for group projects, especially second semester. We have an informatics class where it's a lot of group work
Right.
and technology. And so I've used those TV screens a lot, but it's,
So you're the HEC gal.
I'm an HEC
I
gal.
thought you were the library gal. I was
feel
wrong.
I love the library.
Okay, you're the library
Yes.
gal.
So if it's chill study, I like, a cute little coffee shop like Freckleberry. If it's like grind time, lock myself in a library study room, which you can also rent out. And it's like the
Same
window
place.
is about 2 feet long, and it's just a room that has a whiteboard. And there's like no distractions. It's just you and like
you and the material.
It's literally like, feels like a little cell, but it keeps me like focused.
Right.
And that's like 3rd and 4th floor of the library. And then if I need a break, the 2nd floor of the library has like beautiful floor to ceiling windows with big tables, and I can like people watch, and it's super nice.
Now, which floor? I know in the library, because Kat, you talk about this on the tours. There's a quiet floor.
That's
the
3rd floor.
3rd and 4th, I think.
Okay, so you cannot talk.
Yeah,
or
like
you
unless you're in like a study room.
right. Oh, right.
Yeah,
But
those rooms are kind of, the walls are pretty thin, so
You'll get aggressively shushed.
yeah, I'm the person.
It's Savannah. Yeah, if you hear yourself getting shushed, we know who it is now.
But the 2nd floor, they have like a ton of computers. We also have like a little museum in the library.
Right.
That's super fun.
It
I
is
just learned
cool.
about that.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
All the history.
Also, Old Red, the like student area is open 24 hours. So
Right, and so the library and HEC are not, right?
No.
But they're open late. But
They are
not-
open pretty late.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but the Old Red, the bottom floor, there's like a massage chair and a ping pong table for study breaks, and it's super awesome.
Nap breaks, right? Maya, what's your study of choice?
My bed.
Stop. I love the honesty.
So real. I like turn my bedroom into a cave.
Hey, what
don't-
works for you?
I just need to lock myself in, but I get so distracted around other people. I mean, I
we
get
talk
so
a
distracted.
lot, but
That's how you de-stress, though.
I just fell
sometimes.
asleep in my bed.
I know.
That's a sacred place for
If
Savannah.
I study at home, I start doing chores. Like I'll start finding other ways to
I
procrastinate.
swear it's like the only place I can study. But I have a TV in my room, and I listen to this one YouTuber. It's like, if you look up Study With Me, this is like my favorite little study hack ever. If you look up Study With Me, it's this one girl, and she'll do like 14 hours, which I know sounds crazy, but she'll do like 12, 14, like 3, 4, like whatever hours study sessions. So it'll be her like timed studying for 50 minutes, and then she takes a 10-minute break, and then 50 minutes
So it feels
on.
like you're studying with someone, but they're not.
They're not talking to me.
Right. Do not talk to Maya when she's studying.
And it has like rain in the background. And it
Right.
has like classical music or
So
something.
it's like zen
there's-
for you. You
yeah,
can
there's,
really
like,
focus
background
in. Right.
noise, but it also keeps me like on task because it's timed, but it also forces me to take a break because I won't if someone
Right.
does not force
And breaks are
me
good.
to. Yes. Good for the brain, just hard
You can
to
only retain so much at a time, right?
Yeah. But yeah.
No.
I'm sometimes at my desk, sometimes on my couch, usually in my
Right.
bed.
And see, and that's kind of going back to, that's what I think is so cool is y'all do all have unique experiences, and what works for Kat doesn't work for Maya, and vice versa. Like y'all all do something different and have a different preference, which I think is cool to show. Again, you can be successful in the program and have different strengths or different preferences and still make it through, right?
Yeah. And I wish, sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to cut you
go.
off.
You are not cutting me off.
Something that I wish like I had heard going in was don't be discouraged when it takes time to figure out what works for you. Because I think that I was so stressed because I was seeing, I think I was overwhelmed with resources almost because there are so many. And so I think I was like, I need to know what works for me right now. But it took time. It took like my first like exam, even like second round of exams too. And we're all still figuring out like what exactly works for us. And so to just take a deep breath.
Right. And that's a good thing to be overwhelmed with. Like, so many resources. What do I do? Which is, I mean, that's a good problem to have, right?
It is a great problem.
Definitely so much better than, just having none.
Yes.
So there's so many people here that like will help you. All you need to do is ask. All you need to do is like tell someone
and
let someone know.
And our faculty, I mean,
we don't even talk about.
Let's talk about the faculty. That's such an important part of being
instructors.
successful. And that's like when I'm out recruiting, that is the number one thing that I talk to our alumni about when they mention to me, what made us stand out among other schools, and it was our faculty's dedication to their success. All have open door policies. That's so unique. Like that is not, unfortunately, status quo in nursing schools where faculty are that open and dedicated to their students. So,
and I went to a big university before coming here, and so when one of my first semester instructors, like, remembered my name, and I go by my middle name actually, so it's hard to remember. It's not like what's on the like roster or anything like that.
Right.
But when my faculty remembered my name, like I'll never forget that.
Did you cry? I would have cried.
I did tear up because I
call
you
her
know
out,
me.
Professor Heiss.
Professor Heiss.
Oh my gosh, I was literally that's literally who I was thinking about. My head.
The sweetest woman.
To take her time to like actually remember my name, and it wasn't on book.
And like what you wanted to be called.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It meant the world to me, and it just kind of showed that like our professors will go like above and beyond to
because you're not just a person in the crowd.
No.
Like you are a student with a purpose and with a story, and that's important to them, right? Like you're not just number 30 on the roster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have y'all had good experiences with our faculty,
Oh my
Maya?
gosh,
Savannah?
yes.
Yeah.
So my first semester, I won't get too into it, but my first semester I had some, a family circumstance going on. I had to reschedule clinicals. I had to like do a whole lot, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail this semester. Like there's no way I can do it. I mean, I reached out to Casey Woodston. I reached out to all of the people. All of my instructors first semester were so incredibly supportive. They were so like, you do whatever you want. Just tell us, like, we will go with you, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and they still check on me. Like, I've had Professor Heiss and I emailed this, like, literally this semester, like, a month ago. I mean, she was first semester.
Yeah.
I still talk to, like, the health assessment faculty.
Yes.
I talk to who's retiring, but I talk to, like, so many people from first semester still. They don't forget you, which is crazy because, I mean, imagine how many.
They see a lot of students.
Especially because semesters are so short. Everything goes by so quickly.
And there's a lot of it. There's a good amount of us in the classes.
There is
cohorts too.
Absolutely. So the fact that they, like, not only remember the face, not only remember the name, but they remember, like, oh, you were going through this. How is this going? Like, they're very, I don't know, they're very personal, very, but I mean, we forget, like, they're nurses. Like, that's what nursing is,
Which I think is, the number one thing that stands out about our school. And I know y'all know my husband went through the program, but faculty still check on him, and he's been graduated for how many years? Like, that's not normal. That's not normal. But I think that is what makes us so special. Savannah, what are your experiences with our faculty?
I think they're so amazing. I was shocked the first time. Everyone really, really wants you to help from day one. They're like, I was in your shoes. I know you can do this. Like, please ask if you need help. They're so dedicated. I feel like they're always working. I got an email at like 9 p.m. from a professor, and I was like,
go to sleep.
Man, it's my bedtime. I'm sorry.
Right.
But yeah, they just really want us to succeed. Like, no man left behind for sure.
Right.
I can talk about them all day.
We want to carry you through.
Yeah, I had a professor sit down and like genuinely ask for my feedback. Be like, okay, this is like a new assignment that we're doing. Like, how did you interpret these instructions? Like, do you think we could have clarified it? And like actually wanting student feedback it was a change compared to like prior experiences.
And they're changing things to make us more successful when we graduate, not just in their own class.
Right.
So
yeah, that's so unique. Literally, I talk to a lot of students who've gone to other places too, and they're like, that was not my experience. So I'm like, that's why you need to come to us. Our faculty are really, I mean, I know I sound totally biased, but y'all are not biased because you are students and you pay to be here. So clearly our faculty are doing something right. Right.
I feel like that's another resource that we didn't even really talk
Yes.
about.
Well, we caught it. So
something else that the faculty does that I just want to give a little shout out about is the exam reviews.
yes.
Oh, yes.
So they have, like, after you take an exam, you're in nursing school, you can't look at your questions, you can't look at your answers, you can't know exactly what you did wrong on every single question because that,
integrity.
breaches all kinds of academic integrity.
Right.
But what they will do is they'll hold a review after the exam where they will go over general concepts. And if you attend, they're optional. You don't need to. But if you had an exam that you didn't do good on, you can go to that. After you go to that, you have an opportunity to meet with the instructors one-on-one or one-on, a small group, and go more into depth in your exam report. Okay, like, what kind of concepts did you miss out on specifically?
Right.
What can we do to help you?
So you're not getting the exact question, but you're at least getting, this is the concept, though, that
like
you
what
missed.
Was it a nursing application process?
Right.
Was it an assessment? Like, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I think that's so helpful.
Which opens that critical thinking that we are trying to drive home for our students.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's super important.
No, that's awesome.
They take time out of their work day to do that with us. And they're like okay, what time works best for y'all to do a one-on-one or a small group?
Which is not normal. Like, your faculty are literally working on you. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a faculty member recently who had an emergency, and she was like, I'm not in town, but I will do a Zoom for you guys. Like,
Good grief.
so willing to help us out. It's incredible.
They're one of a kind. They're all very special to me too, even though I'm not a student. Are there any like concluding thoughts anyone wants to share about resources? Just in general? No.
We covered a lot of bases.
We did. Well,
if you need it, it's here, basically.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And don't be scared to ask.
Yes.
And ask early.
Yes.
KCW.
Yeah, right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. I always love chatting with you guys. And thank you for everyone who tuned in to listen to our Nursing School Chronicles. Check back with us and see what else we have planned for you. You've been listening to Nursing School Chronicles, brought to you by the University of Texas Medical Branch School of Nursing. For more information, please reach out to the UTMB School of Nursing Admissions and Student Affairs Office. Our number is 409-772-8271, or visit us on our website at nursing.utmb.edu. All of the opinions expressed on this podcast are the opinions of those speaking and do not reflect the policies or stances of the University of Texas Medical Branch School of Nursing in Galveston.